This patio went from overlooked and lifeless to a peaceful little paradise without hiring a designer or spending a fortune. And here's the best part. You can do the same. If you've ever felt like your outdoor space is just a concrete slab or a few lonely chairs, you're not alone. But today, I'm sharing 10 easy, affordable patio garden ideas that look like they cost a fortune, yet most cost less than $10. These are perfect if you're retired, living on a budget, or just want to bring beauty back into your space without heavy lifting or complicated tools. Whether you're working with a tiny balcony or a full backyard, these tips will show you how to turn what you have into something that brings you joy every single day. Ready to feel proud of your patio again? Let's get started. If you've ever stepped outside and thought, this patio's just too plain, or maybe, I'd love to fix it up, but it's just not in the budget, you're not alone. So many of us feel that way, especially when we're living on a fixed income or downsizing. But here's the good news. Creating a space you truly love doesn't have to cost much. In fact, some of the most beautiful changes come from small, thoughtful touches. You deserve a space that makes you smile every morning, every evening, and today, I'll show you just how possible that really is. In this video, I'm sharing 10 patio garden ideas that look like they cost thousands, but they're surprisingly affordable. Whether your space is small, your budget is tight, or bending and lifting isn't as easy as it used to be, these ideas are designed with you in mind. You don't need fancy tools or a green thumb. Just a few simple changes that can completely transform your outdoor space into something peaceful, personal, and beautiful. So if you've been waiting for the right time to refresh your patio, this is it. Idea 1. Repurpose old furniture. Let's start with something simple, but powerful. Take a look around your home, garage, or even your storage shed. Do you have an old chair, side table, or wooden stool that's just been sitting there collecting dust? Maybe it's a little wobbly. Maybe the paint's chipped. Maybe you've thought about tossing it out. But before you do, hear me out. That old piece might be the perfect foundation for something beautiful. With just a little imagination, you can turn it into a rustic plant stand that adds charm and character to your patio without spending a dime. All you need is a quick wipe down, maybe a coat of paint if you're up for it, and a potted plant to sit right on top. Or get creative. Remove the seat from an old chair and place a pot where the cushion used to be. The result? A completely unique garden feature that looks like something straight out of a designer catalog. What I love about this idea is how deeply personal it can be. That chair might hold memories from raising kids, morning coffees, or conversations with friends. Now, instead of letting it waste away, you're giving it a second life. You're creating something new, rooted in your story. And here's the best part. It's easy on the hands and knees. No digging, no hauling soil, just gentle repurposing that makes a big impact with minimal effort. This is the kind of project that doesn't just upgrade your space, it lifts your spirit. It's proof that even the worn-out things, like us sometimes, still have beauty and purpose. So take a look around. Is there something old in your home that could bloom into something new? That's where your patio transformation begins. Idea 2. Add solar pathway lights, $1 each. These cost me less than a cup of coffee, and they changed how I feel about my patio every single evening. Solar pathway lights are one of the easiest, most affordable upgrades you can make, and they do more than just brighten up your outdoor space. They create atmosphere, they create peace, they create that feeling of, I've made this space mine. The best part? You don't need wiring, tools, or even an extension cord. These little lights are powered by the sun. Just stick them in the ground or place them in a planter during the day, and by sunset, your patio glows like a cozy retreat. They literally light up your path, your garden, even your flower pots. And here's the kicker. You can find them at dollar stores, discount chains, or online for about $1 each. That means even on the tightest budget, you can afford to add a touch of elegance and warmth to your evenings. For me, adding these lights became more than a practical decision. It became a little ritual. At dusk, I step outside with a cup of tea and watch as each light softly flickers to life. It's calming. It's grounding. It reminds me that I don't need to travel far or spend big to enjoy beauty right at home. If mobility is an issue, these lights are a dream. No bending over for long periods. No digging. You just press them into the soil or wedge them between rocks or pots. If you live in an apartment, you can line them up along balcony rails or tuck them into flower boxes. They're lightweight, they're flexible, and they bring a big reward with very little effort. And if you're someone who feels nervous about being outdoors after dark, these give you just enough glow to move around safely, without harsh lights ruining the mood. Safety meets serenity. Sometimes, it's the little things that create the biggest changes. These tiny lights won't just brighten your patio, they'll brighten your mood. Every evening becomes an invitation to slow down, breathe deeply, and simply enjoy where you are. So next time you're at the store, grab a few. Try just 2 or 3 and see what happens. You might be surprised how much joy a few dollars can bring. Idea 3. Container gardening with dollar store pots. You don't need a big backyard or fancy planters to enjoy gardening. In fact, some of the most charming garden spaces I've seen were built entirely from dollar store finds and a little creativity. Container gardening is one of the easiest and most flexible ways to bring life and color to your patio. And yes, you can start with pots that cost as little as $1 each. That's right, no big investment, no heavy lifting, no complicated setup. Head to your local dollar store or discount shop and look for plastic pots, bins, baskets, or even metal containers. They don't have to be perfect. In fact, sometimes the slightly mismatched ones end up looking the most unique and homey. You can leave them as is, or give them a little personality with paint, stickers, or ribbon, whatever feels like you. Here's a quick tip. If you want those plastic pots to look more expensive, try using a little matte spray paint in a stone or terracotta color. Suddenly, a $1 container looks like it came from a boutique nursery. And because they're lightweight, they're easier on your back and arms to move around when needed. Now here's where the magic happens. Choose a few plants that make you smile. Herbs like basil and mint are easy to grow and smell amazing. Bright flowers like marigolds or petunias add instant color. Even leafy greens like lettuce can thrive in containers, and they're easy to snip and enjoy fresh. The beauty of container gardening is that you control everything. How much space you use, how often you water, and how close the garden is to your chair or table. No bending, no weeding, no wrestling with the ground. It's perfect if mobility or energy levels aren't what they used to be. I remember starting with just $3 store pots, one for basil, one for lavender, and one for cherry tomatoes. I kept them right next to my patio chair, and every morning I'd sit out there with a cup of coffee, breathing in the scent and watching them grow. It became a peaceful little routine, something to look forward to. So don't underestimate what a few humble pots can do. They might just turn your patio into your favorite room of the house. All it takes is a few dollars, a little soil, and a bit of love. Idea 4. Vertical hanging garden. This trick doubled my planting space, and it's back-friendly too. One of the biggest challenges with gardening as we get older isn't money or space. It's reach. Kneeling, bending, lifting, it all takes a toll. That's where vertical gardening comes in. It's an easy, elegant way to garden without straining your body. And you don't need to be a builder or designer to make it happen. All you need is a wall, a fence, a balcony rail, or even a sturdy piece of lattice. Then, with a few simple hooks, hanging pouches, or pocket planters, you've got yourself a vertical garden. These pouches are often sold online or at garden centers. But here's a tip: don't overlook things like shoe organizers or reusable fabric bags from the dollar store. You can turn them into clever planters in minutes. Simply hang your organizer or pouches from a few strong hooks. Fill each pocket with soil and drop in your favorite herbs, flowers, or leafy greens. Suddenly, your patio wall becomes a living, blooming piece of art, and you didn't have to bend over once. What I love most about this method is how it makes the most of small spaces. If your patio floor is already home to chairs or tables, go vertical. Use the empty wall space to keep growing upward. You'd be surprised how many plants can thrive in a few hanging pouches. Parsley, thyme, strawberries, succulents, even lettuce. And let's talk about the emotional side. Watching something grow, right at eye level, brings a sense of calm and purpose. There's something beautiful about tending to your little wall of life each day. You see the changes, you smell the herbs. You feel connected to something natural. For me, this idea came at a time when I wasn't moving around as easily. I missed the feeling of digging in the dirt, of seeing green things come to life. Building a vertical garden gave me back that joy, without the physical strain. It was a gift, truly. And the best part? It's easy to maintain. The soil stays moist longer because the plants shade one another. And since they're off the ground, you have fewer problems with pests or weeds. Just water from the top and let gravity do the rest. Even if you're in a small apartment with only a balcony wall to work with, this is one of the most rewarding ways to bring life to your space. So if you're short on space or just want a more back-friendly way to garden, give this vertical trick a try. It's simple, it's satisfying, and it just might become your favorite corner of the patio. Idea 5. Add a small water feature, DIY fountain with bowl and pump. There's something almost magical about the sound of water. It slows the mind, softens the noise of the world, and makes any space feel like a peaceful retreat. And the best part? You don't need a pond, a fancy setup, or a big budget to bring that feeling to your own patio. You can create a small water feature, a real, working fountain with just a bowl, a small submersible pump, and a little creativity. It's easier than you think, and the result feels like luxury on a shoestring. Start with a wide, shallow bowl or planter, ceramic, plastic, even an old dish basin will do. Then, pick up a small solar or electric fountain pump, which you can find online or at garden centers for under $20. Place the pump in the bowl, add water, and arrange a few smooth stones or small plants around it. Plug it in, and that's it. You've just added the sound of serenity to your patio. What makes this so special is how quickly it changes the atmosphere. The soft trickle of water turns your patio from a plain outdoor space into something alive. It draws birds. It calms the nerves. It creates a moment of stillness in a noisy world. And if you're someone who spends a lot of time indoors or alone, this small sound can be surprisingly comforting. It makes your patio feel like a destination, not just a corner you pass by. There's also something deeply satisfying about making it yourself. No plumbing, no digging, no heavy lifting, just a few simple pieces. And suddenly, you have a centerpiece for your outdoor sanctuary. If you live in an apartment or don't have an outdoor outlet, a solar pump is a great solution. It runs during the day with sunlight and shuts off when the sun goes down, which can even help with energy savings. So if you're looking for a quick, calming upgrade that brings nature closer to home, try adding a small DIY fountain. For me, it's become part of my daily ritual. I sit beside it in the morning with my tea, listening to the water, feeling the breeze. No stress, just quiet joy. You don't need much to make your patio feel special. Just a little water, a little care, and a little time to enjoy it. Idea 6. Painted rocks as garden markers. Here's one of my favorite ideas, not because it's fancy or expensive, but because it's personal. Painted rocks. Yes, simple stones. But when you turn them into garden markers, they become something much more. They become part of your story. You can use them to label herbs, flowers, or veggies in your container garden. But they're also a chance to add personality, creativity, and a bit of love to your outdoor space. And here's what makes it special. It's something you can do with your family, with friends, or just on a quiet afternoon for yourself. Some of my favorite markers came from a Saturday spent with my grandkids. We sat at the kitchen table with smooth river rocks, some craft paint, and a few old brushes. They painted mint, tomatoes, lavender, and of course, a few that didn't have words at all, just hearts, smiley faces, and little bugs with googly eyes. Now every time I step out onto the patio, I don't just see my plants, I see memories. I see laughter, sticky fingers, and bright little imaginations brought to life on stone. And if you don't have grandkids nearby, this is still a beautiful solo project. It's calming and creative. You can use it to write plant names, inspirational words like grow or breathe, or even a little reminder to smile. You don't need expensive supplies either. Just grab some rocks from the yard or a garden store, a few bottles of acrylic paint or markers, and maybe a clear sealer spray to protect them from the weather. That's it. What I love about this idea is that it combines function with feeling. You're making your space more organized. No more guessing which herb is which, but you're also making it more you. Every rock is different. Every word has meaning. And unlike plastic garden tags that break or fade, these rocks stay beautiful for years. They age gracefully, just like us. It's also a gentle, body-friendly project. No digging, no heavy lifting, just sitting, painting, and enjoying the moment. When friends come over, they always notice the rocks. "Did you paint these?" they ask. and it opens up a conversation, not just about plants, but about memories, family, and how even the smallest things can bring so much joy. So if you're looking for a simple way to add charm to your patio, and maybe a few meaningful moments along the way, try this. Pick up a few rocks, some paint, and let yourself play. Whether it's a label for your basil or a little message to yourself that says, "You're doing just fine." Those small touches have a big impact. And who knows, one day, someone might pick up that rock years from now and smile at the story it tells. Idea 7. Herb garden in a tiered shelf. There's something special about growing herbs, especially when they're right within reach. They smell wonderful, they're useful in the kitchen, and they add a little beauty to your day. But if space is tight, or bending down isn't as easy as it used to be, here's a clever solution. Build your herb garden on a tiered shelf. It doesn't have to be fancy. An old plant stand, a small step shelf, even a repurposed bathroom organizer works beautifully. The idea is simple. Stack your plants vertically, so you can grow more in less space, while keeping everything at a comfortable height. This setup is perfect for a patio or balcony. Each level of the shelf can hold 2 to 4 small pots, depending on size, and you can mix and match herbs like basil, rosemary, thyme, parsley, mint, even a few flowers for color. The best part? You don't have to reach down to ground level or stretch too far above. It's gardening made easier and smarter. I started mine with just a small wooden shelf I found at a thrift store. A quick wipe, a coat of weather-friendly paint, and suddenly I had 3 levels of growing space right outside my back door. Every morning, I'd step out and pinch off a few mint leaves for tea, or a sprig of rosemary for cooking, and I can't tell you how satisfying it felt. It also turned that little corner of my patio into something beautiful. The green leaves, the smells, the variety. It looked like a miniature farmer's market. Friends would comment on it, and I'd smile knowing it cost almost nothing and took very little effort to maintain. If you're worried about watering, here's a tip. Place saucers or trays under each pot to catch any runoff. And group herbs by water needs. Basil and parsley like more moisture, while thyme and rosemary prefer it dry. This kind of garden isn't just about growing food. It's about growing a rhythm. It gives you a reason to step outside, to nurture something, to take a moment just for you. So whether you have a store-bought shelf or something you already own, consider turning it into your personal herb garden. It's simple, beautiful, and brings a little peace to your everyday life, one shelf at a time. Idea 8. Cozy seating with DIY cushions. You don't need designer furniture to create a cozy patio, just a soft place to sit and a few simple touches you can make yourself. And one of the easiest ways to transform any seating area is with DIY cushions. You'd be surprised what a difference a cushion makes. It turns a cold metal chair or a hard bench into an inviting corner you actually want to use. And the best part? You don't need sewing skills or a big budget to make it happen. Start with basic foam or even repurpose old couch cushions. If you don't have outdoor fabric, use something water-resistant like a shower curtain, an old vinyl tablecloth, or a sturdy canvas tote bag. You can simply wrap the foam like a gift, tie it off with ribbon or Velcro, and you've got yourself a comfy, custom cushion that's patio ready. If you want more support, layer in some quilt batting or even a yoga mat cut to size. Add a pillow for the back, and suddenly your simple chair feels like a cozy nook. When I first did this, it wasn't about looks, it was about comfort. I'd found myself standing more than sitting outside, just because the chairs weren't comfortable anymore. But once I added a few homemade cushions, everything changed. I started lingering longer, reading a little more, drinking my tea slowly instead of rushing back inside. And here's the emotional part. Making those cushions became a project I looked forward to. I picked fabrics that made me smile. One had sunflowers. Another had soft blues that reminded me of a beach trip I took years ago. They weren't perfect, but they were mine. And when my grandkids came to visit, they picked their favorite cushion to sit on, which became a fun little ritual. Even now, I smile when I see the cushion they always choose. So if your patio seating feels plain or uncomfortable, try this. Make it yours. Add softness, add color, add memories. It doesn't take much, just a little time, a little fabric, and the desire to make your outdoor space feel just as inviting as your favorite chair inside. Because the more comfortable it feels, the more likely you are to enjoy it. Idea 9. trellis wall with climbing plants. Sometimes, all a space needs is a little vertical magic. If your patio feels flat or lacking privacy, a trellis wall with climbing plants might be the simple upgrade you've been looking for. It's one of those ideas that looks high-end, but is actually easy and affordable to pull off. A trellis can be wood, metal, or even made from repurposed items like old ladders or lattice panels. Attach it to a fence, lean it against a wall, or anchor it in a planter. There's flexibility for almost any space. Once it's up, let the real transformation begin. Add climbing plants. Morning glories, clematis, jasmine, or even cherry tomatoes. They all grow beautifully with just a bit of support. As the vines climb, they create a soft, living wall that adds texture, privacy, and a calming sense of enclosure. I still remember the first time I added a trellis to my patio. It was a basic wooden one I found at a garage sale for $10. I planted sweet peas at the base. Nothing fancy. Within weeks, the vines were stretching toward the sky, blooming with delicate purple flowers. That plain wall became something beautiful, something alive. And what surprised me most? The emotional shift. It felt like I had my own little garden room. The vines gave me a sense of peace, and the gentle rustle of the leaves in the breeze made it feel like a secret hideaway, even in a small backyard. Climbing plants are also great for reducing heat and glare. If you have a spot that gets too much sun, a trellis can create dappled shade, cooling your patio naturally and giving your eyes a break. And for those of us who may not want to spend time bending and kneeling, this kind of vertical gardening is a gift. You plant once, and the garden grows up, not down, so it's easier to water, prune, and enjoy without straining your back or knees. A trellis wall doesn't just decorate a space. It frames it. It gives your garden structure and elegance, while still feeling organic and soft. Whether you're looking for beauty, privacy, or a little shade, this one simple addition can deliver it all. So if you've got a blank wall, a bare fence, or even just a craving for something lush and alive, try going vertical. Let nature climb, and let your space bloom with it. Idea 10. Wind chimes for sound and spirit. Some garden upgrades speak to the eyes, others to the hands. But this one speaks to the soul. Adding a wind chime to your patio might seem small, but the impact is anything but. It brings sound, softness, and a sense of calm every time the breeze blows. And for many of us, that gentle music becomes more than background noise. It becomes part of our daily rhythm. Wind chimes are easy to find and even easier to make. You can buy them at garden centers, thrift stores, or online. Or, if you're feeling creative, you can craft your own using items around the house. Old keys, silverware, seashells, or beads. A simple string, a wooden ring, and a little imagination are all you need. The beauty of wind chimes isn't just in the sound. They also tell a story. I have one that my daughter gave me years ago. Every time it chimes, I think of her. I also made one myself using driftwood and tiny bells collected during a beach walk. It's imperfect, a little rusty, but it sings a soft, familiar tune that reminds me of the ocean. That's the magic of it. Wind chimes turn ordinary space into something sacred. They're subtle, but powerful, transforming your patio into a place where you can pause, breathe, and just be. And if you're someone who finds silence a little too quiet, or if you live alone and want something comforting in the air, wind chimes can be a gentle companion. They remind you that the world is still moving, the wind is still dancing, and there's beauty in stillness. They also make wonderful memory markers. Some people hang one in honor of someone they've lost, each chime a reminder, a whisper, a presence. Others use them to celebrate, a sound for peace, gratitude, or simply to mark this stage of life with something beautiful. The setup is simple. Hang your chime from a hook, a pergola beam, or even a shepherd's pole planted in a flower pot. You can place it where the wind touches often, or in a quiet corner where only a strong breeze will wake it. No matter the size or sound, a wind chime adds something special. A moment, a mood, a melody. So if your patio needs just one more element to feel complete, try this. Let it sing. Let the wind bring your space to life. Not just with motion, but with music. After I downsized, I honestly thought my gardening days were over. No yard, no soil, no space, just a small patio. But what I didn't expect was how deeply this little corner would grow on me. Over time, it became more than just a place for plants. It became my sanctuary. Every pot, every string of lights, every hand-painted rock, even the ones a little chipped, reminds me that beauty doesn't come from perfection. It comes from care, attention, and the willingness to keep growing, just like us. And the truth is, I didn't give up my garden. I simply made it fit my life now. It didn't take a lot of money, just a little love, time, and creativity. Bit by bit, I added what brought me joy. A soft cushion here, a flower pot there. Before I knew it, this simple patio turned into my favorite place to be. It's peaceful, it's personal, and it reminds me that with just a few small touches, we can create beauty right where we are, no matter our age or budget. Which of these ideas would you try first? Or do you have a favorite patio tip of your own? Share it in the comments. I'd truly love to hear it, and I just might feature your idea in a future video. And if this gave you even one spark of inspiration, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I share simple, senior-friendly ideas every week to help you create a space that feels like home, beautiful, comforting, and completely yours.